In the front of our house is a row of hibiscus. This hedge is designed to give us privacy from the street, so we want it to be as thick as possible. This is a view from the street, and that hedge is giving us good privacy, but we also want the hedge to be as thin as possible. We do grow vegetables in the front of the bed, so we're trying to get this to be a thin, narrow hedge. I've removed a hibiscus branch so that we can take a look at what happens when pruning occurs. So the most important thing to consider is that when a cut is made on a branch, it stimulates growth below that cut because the plant is reacting and trying to recover. It assumes, in nature, it assumes that wind has broken it or an animal has broken it, so it's going to shoot out and push out vegetative growth from the next available node or nodes below where that cut was made. So if you're looking at this section right here, if I were to make a cut right here, then this branch would get all the energy, or the most of the energy, from the plant. If I were to make the cut right here, then this would get the energy from the plant. And so if you look in between each leaf node, there should be that right there, which is a dormant bud. It's a dormant branch bud that's going to push out. So if I were to make a cut right there, this little bud would push out a new branch. So as a result, when you're pruning a plant like a hibiscus or even a lot of fruit trees, you can train the plant to grow in the direction you want to by making cuts above the nodes of the direction in which you want it to grow. So the objective for this hedge is to grow it as dense as possible, but as thin as possible. So I'm removing all branches that grow outward, or another way of looking at it is that I only want branches that grow in one axis, one direction. So I'm going through and looking at every branch and only keeping the buds or the branches that are growing in the direction that I want them to grow in. These are the first cuts that are going to require some more careful consideration. I've let this big plant grow more or less unchecked, and I'm going to do some pretty hard training right now because there's a smaller plant right next to it, and I want that smaller plant to have a chance to grow to its potential. It's just a smaller variety. This guy is a bigger variety, and I want to check him back a little bit. So you can see that this branch right here is crowding the space there, so I'm going to do something about that. The other thing is I really want to control cross branching. I don't want branches like this. Is a terrible cross branch. It's just a small branch going across a bigger branch into the ground. That definitely comes out. But there are a lot of cross branches here. So it's a good example right here, and this is too. This branch is growing across over top other main branches. So those all come out. So I'm going to bring the height down. I'm going to bring it way down because the plants on either side are only about half the height, and it will very, very aggressively recover. I'm just trying to make a careful decision here on the future shape of this plant. And I want to choose branches that go east to west, not north to south. So now this plant has been cut back really, really hard. I think the rule of thumb is to remove 1/3 of a plant when you're doing a pruning. In this case, I removed, I'd say easily 2/3. But I am in the tropics, and it is we're in early March, coming out of our extremely, extremely mild winter, but in winter nonetheless. The growing season is starting, and these are vigorous plants. So I'm willing to take the risk